Think about the words from a federal judge. Here they are. It says a constitutional crisis has erupted during the federal clampdown in Washington, D.C. That judge says the Trump administration's deployment of National Guard troops causes chaos, false imprisonment, and pads crime statistics. CBS News Justice reporter Jake Rosen joins us now from Washington. Jake, this is a judge that President Trump appointed back in, 2020? What else did he have to say?
Well, that's right, Reed. This judge made quite the scene yesterday in federal court here in the nation's capital, singling out not just the government's takeover of the city, but the way that federal prosecutors, in turn, after people have been arrested for, in this case specifically, it was a threat against the president. Well, that charge was later dropped because federal prosecutors did not have substantive enough evidence. This judge and even this person's defense attorney said it was right before the hearing. The Department of Justice said that they were no longer going to bring this case. But this person had been held in federal prison for 6 days before this hearing was even held. This has happened in numerous cases. And this judge said that the Department of Justice and Trump administration are going around the city playing cops and robbers. They're looking to rush these numbers and rush these cases to put things out on Twitter and Truth Social and press releases, and also singled out what they basically see as a distrust in policing in this city, that in which people are just being arrested first before actually having questions asked of them or charges are being brought. It fits a larger pattern that we've talked about, Reed, over the last couple of weeks and months. As grand juries in the city, our peers here in Washington, D.C. have decided to not indict in a number of these high-profile cases on federal charges. Instead, the Department of Justice has had to move to charge people with simply just misdemeanors, which the the police department here in D.C. could do without the federal law enforcement here. Now judges are starting to pick up on it, warning that this just cannot continue at this rate without potentially causing a potential constitutional crisis and threatening at least the democracy and the way it works here in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, pick up on it and pick on it, as you say. Jake, we're also hearing reports that the Justice Department is weighing banning transgender Americans from owning guns. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, that's right, Reed. A Department of Justice spokesperson said that in response to the Minnesota shooting last week and some news reporting yesterday, that the DOJ is, quote, actively evaluating options to prevent the pattern of violence that they've seen with individuals from specific mental health challenges and substance abuse disorders. This, again, is in response to what we've seen not just in Minneapolis last week in terms of that horrible tragedy at that Catholic school and daycare and church there, but also what we've seen in Nashville, where there have been very isolated instances of transgender people committing mass shootings. Obviously, if you take a step back, and as tragic as these are, it's simply not a demonstrable pattern that transgender shooters are common in America. Simply just mass shootings are common, and they've been perpetrated by a number of people. And I think what we've seen now is a Department of Justice that is willing to go out and say these kinds of things, lean into the rumors as a potential solution to stop these mass shootings. However, we've seen even real bipartisan legislation has failed to stop these mass shootings. We'll see if any kind of real legal challenge is brought, but it would certainly be challenged in court and almost immediately struck down by federal judges, because even the Supreme Court has ruled that these gun rights are essentially omnipresent unless you're a felon in this country.
Well, the U.S. Attorney for D.C., Jean Pirro, just reported today on the shooting of a congressional intern. What can you tell us on that?
Yeah, and this was one of the high-profile instances that President Trump and the Department of Justice had cited in terms of bringing in the federal takeover here in D.C. and the National Guard. The Department of Justice and Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney here in D.C., announced that 2 teens had been charged in this. Here's what she had to say about her office's work to keep teens accountable during this federal takeover.
This is why, from day one, when I came here, I knew that we were missing a whole segment of criminals in D.C., in our nation's capital, because the D.C. Council thinks that these kids need to be protected. They don't need to be protected. They need to be made accountable, and we need to be protected.
the Department of Justice has now been exploring different options to try to hold people who are younger than 17 and 18 accountable for violent offenses in the city. I would just point out, Reed, one of the major factors in this is truancy and high absenteeism rate in high schools. Simply, it's a bigger problem than just violent crime. It's just the institutions have failed people of young age here in D.C. Just citing one statistic from last year, the truancy rate in D.C. high schools was about 30%. High-profile absenteeism was about 40%. It's much bigger, and it's unclear to me how the Trump administration is planning to fix other causes of crime and why kids are just simply not being taken care of and raised the right way in the nation's capital.
Jake Rosen, thank you so much for that.